we are ready to get started. So welcome to another episode of Mindful Mondays. And once again, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And it's good to have you here. So today's topic is going to be one that we've all struggled with at some point in our life, and it's about self-esteem. So Akanksha, kick us off by telling us, what is self-esteem?
Self-esteem refers to the overall opinion you have about your value or your worth. It is influenced by many things like your experiences, your upbringing, and your achievements. Some of the key elements of self-esteem include self-confidence, a sense of security, and identity, a sense of belonging, and your feelings of about your own competence. Self-esteem can be divided into healthy or low self-esteem, and it's important to differentiate between the two. Healthy self-esteem characterizes a positive view of oneself, a sense of confidence and self-worth, and the ability to recognize not only your strengths but also your weaknesses. So people who have a healthy self-esteem take care of themselves both physically and emotionally. They are able to set realistic goals and they take pride in their achievements. They're able to maintain healthy relationships with others, and they are more resilient in the sense that they are able to bounce back much more easily when they are faced with failures and setbacks. On the other hand, we have people who have low self-esteem. This is characterized by a negative view of oneself. It involves feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt, a lack of confidence. So people who have negative self-esteem tend to compare themselves to other people. They have difficulty accepting compliments, and they don't they doubt their decision-making capabilities. They may also engage in self-sabotaging behaviors like procrastination or using drugs and alcohol to cope. They have a fear of failure and they are overly critical of themselves.
Yeah, you're so right about being overly critical because self-talk is so important. We spend most of our lives by ourselves. So it's very important that we have a healthy relationship with ourselves. And self-talk or the narrative or the story that you're telling yourself about the experiences that you've had or where you are right now is very crucial because that informs your future. It's like if you keep remunerating about something and you keep putting yourself down or are overly critical, that becomes an affirmation, and an affirmation becomes belief, and that self-belief then becomes or affects your self-esteem and then subsequently the rest of your life. So how you speak to yourself is very important. I often say that when you're talking to yourself, is this how you would talk to a best friend? Or is this how you would talk to your sister or a loved one? And if the answer is no, then why are you putting yourself through the same pain? So it's very important to be mindful of how you are speaking to yourself, because that's the first sign of a healthy relationship with yourself. But it's not easy. It's not easy to, suddenly overnight become your own therapist as well. I think it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes a conscious change in your behavior. And it's also very important to recognize that if you're feeling at your 0% about something, and if you've been feeling a 0 for a while, it's okay not to feel like 100 or aim for 100 immediately. You can aim to feel 20% better. You can aim to feel, hey, I'm feeling bad about that today, but tomorrow my goal is not to feel amazing about it, but let me try and feel not bad about it. So same way like you would run a marathon, don't aim for the 42 kilometers straight away. Aim to run the first kilometer, then the second, and then automatically one day you will reach the 42. What do you think, Akanksha, about self-talk?
Absolutely. And along the same lines, there are various factors that influence our self-esteem. So it's important to
Yeah.
understand where this comes from. So one of these is your childhood experiences. Our childhood experiences have an immense impact on us
Yes.
throughout our life. So, for example, if a child has an overly critical or a bullying parent or teacher or friends, that
Mm-hmm.
can lead to a low self-esteem later in
Yes.
life. Another factor is perfectionism. In today's day and age, we put too much pressure on ourselves to be perfect. But all that we are doing is comparing ourselves to an
Yeah.
unattainable standard. So it's not very healthy to try and make everything perfect.
Yeah.
Experiencing trauma like verbal abuse or physical abuse or emotional abuse can have a significant negative impact on your self-esteem. And I also want to talk about social media. Social media is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it gives you validation and positive feedback, but on the other hand, you end up comparing yourself to other people
Yeah.
and it gives you negative feedback. So it's important to be mindful when we are on social media sites about the kind of content we are creating and consuming
Yes.
because uh, many times what is put out on social media is not based in reality. People don't put Most of the people don't put their saddest experiences on social media. They are just putting up airbrushed experiences or the best experiences in their lives on social media. So it's important to be mindful of that. And most of us have struggled uh, with this issue at some point in our
Yes.
life, and it's a very heavy burden to bear. But the good news is that there are some effective strategies that we
Hmm?
can use to improve our self-esteem. Number one is to practice self-care, taking care of your body, your mind, taking care of yourself physically and emotionally can boost your self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So this includes exercise, a healthy diet, getting enough sleep, engaging in activities that bring you joy is very important. And like you said, challenging negative self-talk.
Yeah.
Um, these have these type of dialogues that we have with ourselves can lead to negative feelings about ourselves, which can lead to negative beliefs about ourselves. So it's important to, first of all, identify this negative self-talk, challenge it, and replace it with positive self-talk. Setting realistic goals is another way to boost your self-esteem. Rather than going for something that is completely unattainable or engaging in perfectionism, set realistic goals, set achievable goals, and celebrate your progress towards those
Mm-hmm.
goals. And also surround yourself with positive
Yeah.
influences. Surrounding yourself with people who are supportive and encouraging and positive can go a long way in improving your self-esteem. Um, and of course, if you are struggling with self-esteem, reaching out to a therapist or a counselor can be very
Yeah.
beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
So
Sorry. Go ahead.
improving self-esteem is achievable. It requires practice and
Yes.
patience and a willingness to change your negative thought patterns and
Yeah.
beliefs.
Another tip that I always use is whenever I'm thinking something that's not so positive, or if somebody says something to me that's not so positive, I always say that, hey, is that an opinion or is that a fact? Whether it's mine or somebody else's. So I think it's very important to, like you said, keep challenging yourself. And if you can't do it on your own, that's completely okay too. We are there. Reach
Yeah.
out if you have any questions. We are there. We try to help you in any way which we can, or go to a licensed professional to help you with that. And yeah, that's it from us for this week. What else do you think affects self-esteem? Let us know. DM us, comment, and reach out if you have any questions. If not, we will see you next time. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.